Hello. Hi, Christy. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Linda?
I'm really well, thanks. So Christy and I, Linda Downey, are here to chat with you today. And for those of you who are new to our world or who might just be seeing this come across your feed either live right now or during the replay later, please say hello. We would love to know who's listening and where you're from. It's so exciting with technology to be able to have people from all over the world as part of our tribe. And I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. Christy will introduce herself, and then we're going to dive into a topic 1 week before Valentine's Day, which is celebrated here in the United States for sure, and I think in a lot of other parts of the world. And we picked this topic as a way to prepare ourselves for a free event that we're doing next week around Valentine's Day. And it's really the topic of the myth of pursuing love. Um, so chew on that for a little bit. And who I am is Linda Downey. I'm a transformational health coach, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. I work with women primarily in the areas of helping them overcome stress and anxiety, releasing painful past experiences so that they can create a life that they love to live in peace, feeling whole and complete. So that's who I am. And this is my dear friend and colleague, Christy. I'll let her introduce herself.
Yes, thanks so much. I'm Christy Siriano. I'm a board certified functional wellness coach. And I also work primarily with women, helping them reverse autoimmune disease, thyroid dysfunction, and hormone imbalances. And we take a whole person approach. So, functional medicine typically looks at the body as a whole. And I think there are even more layers than that. So, we look at the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and the energetic, all of them. And that's why the work that I do, I think, dovetails so beautifully with the work that Linda does, because we both understand that to heal the physical body and reverse disease dynamics in the physical body, we have to address all of these layers.
Yeah, yep. So my background and how I got into doing this was because of my own health issues, multiple health issues. I have always been a health and wellness professional. I have a master's degree in exercise physiology, and most of my adult life, I struggled with health issues. So it became a topic even more near and dear to my heart as I was like, what's wrong with what I know? What's wrong with how I'm applying it? Why do I struggle so much with my health? And how that ties into today's conversation around love and self-love is because at the root of so much of what people struggle with, whether it's in their physical body, in their romantic relationships, or even just any relationship in their job or with other family members, is their relationship with themselves. That is your primary relationship, is who you are for yourself and how you think of yourself. And the way you manage yourself and your nervous system will tie into health issues and chronic health issues such as pain and gut and hormonal imbalances and autoimmune that Christy works so closely with. So this topic is very much pertinent to the work that we do and to what I had to learn myself in order to get, and it's always a journey. I don't think we're ever arrived, but get so much further along in where I wanted to go in my life. So yeah. So Christy, when you think of, our title today was The Myth of the Pursuit of Love. What do you hear in that? I'm just curious.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw what you named this talk today was this idea that we think love has to come from outside of us, that love
Mhm.
is something we receive from others. Um, and that is, I think, a big misnomer and a big reason for a lot of the problems, the health problems that you and I have both experienced and that we see in our clients, is this idea that love is something we receive and that we have to be worthy of in some respect. And one of the biggest shifts for me, and I have a somewhat of a similar story to Linda, for those of you who don't know, and that I went through um, three miscarriages before my kids were born, and then went through some autoimmune struggles as well. And one of the big shifts for me in my health came when I began to realize that self love and self care is not selfish. It's not narcissistic. It's not putting myself before other people or above other people. It's caring for myself and for this human body in the way that she needs in order for me to be my healthiest and best self and do the work that God put me here to do. And so I think one of the first shifts that I try to help my clients make is viewing their self-care and their self-love as an absolutely crucial piece of the healing puzzle, learning how to put themselves first, not out of any sort of arrogance or superiority, but saying, I have to put on my oxygen mask first. I have to care for myself first. I have to learn to tune into my intuition about what my body needs, tune into what God or the Holy Spirit is trying to tell me about what my human needs so that I can care for her well. And part of that is viewing, I think, viewing ourselves in the same way that we view our own beloved child, right? I look at my daughters, for example, and to me, they are just so beautiful and so perfect. Not that they're perfect all the time, right? We're all human, but they are so perfect and so, I see the beauty in them that they can't see. I see the value and the worth in them. I see their incredible talents and abilities and skills and heart. And my heart just like swells with love and pride when I look at them or when I think of them. And that's the way God looks at us. So, what
Mm,
if we viewed ourselves in that same way and had that same love and compassion and empathy for ourselves and supported our own health and wellness in the same way that we try to care for and support our children?
yeah. Yeah. And as you were talking, I was thinking about culturally, like what are the messages around love? And, we have this holiday next week called Valentine's Day, which really celebrates romantic love. And then we have all of the things in the lyrics and songs and poetry and stories and movies, where we're looking for love, like looking for love in all the wrong places is a song lyric. And rom-coms are often about, love that's not working and it's a problem. And so there's all of that messaging in our culture. And then there's another tremendous amount of evidence and messaging of love is what heals. Love is all there is. From Jesus to any other wisdom teacher throughout the ages, love is the thing that heals. And so there's this love is the thing that heals, love is all you need. And then there's this looking for love in all the wrong places, and you complete me because I'm not complete without you. And when I became a whole life coach, part of the tools that I use in that is healing codes. And healing codes actually helps us use the frequency of love. Every emotion that we feel has a frequency to it, a frequency meaning an energetic wave of how that emotion moves through our body. And what I learned in my training as a whole life coach is that love is the frequency that heals our physical body. And love is the frequency that we got created from, not necessarily always from our mother and father. They were the portal. Our mother specifically was the portal that got us here. But love as a universal source frequency, that's where we're all created from. And that is where our bodies know how to heal. So when we're in the frequency of shame, Shame is something that we feel about ourselves. When we're in the frequency of regret, resentment, anger, the body cannot heal. So helping people get into the frequency of love, and as I mentioned, Jesus and many others throughout time have said that is the place. And I used to, before I really got this, Christy, I would hear cliche phrases like that, like from the 70s or whatever, um, whatever it was about love, and love is love, and love is all we need. And I'd think, yeah, right, love is all I need, and I need a whole lot of money, and I need a partner, and I need all these things, right? But now I get it. What those messages are really saying is love is the thing that heals. And so the other messages around I'm not good enough unless I've gotten love from someone else. And a lot of us are looking for love that we didn't get in the way that we needed it from our parents. Doesn't mean our parents didn't love us, but we didn't have the experience maybe at certain moments. And so we're constantly looking for somebody to replace that space in us that didn't feel listened to, didn't feel held and nurtured in the ways that we needed. So I really feel like there's this dichotomy in our culture, and maybe it's because how human beings are wired. We tend to go to the one, or because it's really romanticized in movies and songs. But we go to the one where there's lack, rather than the messages that say we are enough and love is all you need. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. About what love, into my perspective and the way I've interpreted and the training that I've gotten, what love really is. But do you see what I mean about that? Like culturally, how there's like all this convoluted stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And I agree with you 100% on all of that. And just kind of, I think the contrast to that is what we see in our clients, especially when it comes to autoimmune disease. And I don't entirely agree with the conventional conception of autoimmune disease, but the conception of autoimmune disease is that you are attacking yourself, right? Your immune system is attacking the own body, and in a sense wishing death on yourself, right? If you are attacking your thyroid, or your immune system is attacking the myelin sheath of the nerves in MS, or the joints in rheumatoid arthritis, whatever it is in autoimmune disease, if you are at war with yourself, right, that is stemming from a lack of self-love at an energetic level. Obviously, there are physical layers to this as well. I'm not saying there's not. There's absolutely components that we have to address in terms of bringing the physical body back into balance with food and supplements and lifestyle and repairing leaky gut and all of those things. But at an even more fundamental level is this whole concept of, do I love myself and view myself as worthy? Do I view myself as God views me? Or am I weighted down with shame and self-loathing and feelings of not enough? And even maybe at a subconscious level, feelings that like I am not worthy to live. Um,
Mm,
that is triggering this sort of death wish almost that manifests in autoimmune disease and in the body attacking itself.
yeah, yeah. That's so huge. And the way that I think of autoimmune, because I've had 4 autoimmune diagnoses, like I'm not talking about this as a concept. I'm talking about this as decades of my life, more than 20 years of struggling with, okay, now I got to go to another doctor. Now I need a different prescription. Now I got to figure out how to make it through my day when I can't even get my head off the pillow and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So I got very, very interested in this whole concept. And then it blossomed into, beyond just my physical health. But that autoimmune conditions are showing the body not so much, or showing us not so much that the immune system is attacking. Yes, it is, but also that we've separated from self. Like the immune system isn't recognizing this body, that it's meant. The whole design of it is as a protector, right? Like the immune system is, I'm going to keep out invaders. I'm going to protect this body. And when it's not recognizing, we've detached from self,
Yep.
again, at an energetic level, right? But then it happens in the physical level.
Right.
Um,
Right. And at the physical level, I think what we're really seeing is all of the toxicity, all of the imbalances in the body that have caused our immune system to become so dysregulated as to not be able to differentiate self from non-self. And that's exactly what you're talking about. And it is absolutely happening on a physical level, but also on the energetic level.
Yeah. Like just think about what Christy just said, not being able to discern self from non-self when you're in a relationship and you're not able to speak clearly and effectively what your needs are. And you're sort of like, okay, what I'm supposed to be doing here is making their life work. I'm here to make their life work. That's kind of like a relationship version of autoimmune. Autoimmune is saying I'm going to, dysfunction against how the thyroid is working or the nerves or whatever. I'm going to dysfunctionally work in this relationship because I can't even tell, boundaries. I can't even tell where I'm supposed to be and where that person's supposed to be, and how we both can walk our best life together. So, I wish I could remember who it was. This wasn't something that I thought of myself, but I was watching a conversation. It was a podcast. And it was definitely an expert psychologist, at least one of the people was. And they were talking about, we look for love, we look to find the right partner. And here's the concept that I got, not only from that podcast, but also from some books that I've read and then from my own training. The concept is that love is not something you find. Love is not something you're blessed with. You're lucky enough to get love in this life. You're lucky enough to find a partner, like only some people really have great love relationships. None of that. Love is a state of being. Love is a state of being that we cultivate within ourselves. So if you think of a state of being and what that means is you learn how to be love. And again, it goes back to our most essential or our primal nature, which is we came from love. Jesus says so many times in the Bible, love first, love each other, to the best degree. Love is the thing. So a state of being love means, who am I inside? How do I walk around in the world? And if I can be love in the world, then I have love. And being love means you're not looking for it from anywhere else. You are it. You bring it everywhere you go. And then if you're being love and that's in you, you also are loving yourself as much as the people around you. So who you are when you show up, when you walk into a room, who you are in your family, when everybody sits down at the table, who you are at your job, who you are when you're grocery shopping and standing online. You are the beingness of love. And when you be that, love is all around you and you're in the experience of love. And if a romantic partner is the thing that you're wishing for, searching for, since we're right around Valentine's Day again, that's when you're going to get the person who's really right for you, because they're going to gravitate to what you're already being and putting out. When you're being angry and you meet someone and they gravitate to you, guess what? That's a person who's gravitates towards anger, towards the beingness of anger. I'm not saying that you were yelling in the moment, but your being, your energy, and we hugely respond to each other's energy and we feel it. So then we wonder, well, why am I with this person and they're not nice to me? Well, you attracted them when you were being shame, anger, whatever. You weren't being love, because that person wouldn't have shown up in your world as a partner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And back to, you were kind of comparing relationships and health, and I think the same principle applies in both, in that when we are not being love, when we are not connected to our spiritual power source and being love, we are self-abandoning, we are self-betraying. And that's when those boundaries come into place, when we're in codependent relationships and we just think our job is to serve someone else and totally self-abandon our own needs. And that again comes from a place of being in a place of shame or a lower frequency, rather than being connected to the source of love.
Yeah. And if you've never heard the term being before, like what do they mean? What are they talking about when they say being? And Marianne wrote "Be love in the world" with a little heart. So thank you, Marianne, for the comment. Um, there's being and there's doing, and a lot of people do the things they think they need to do to get love. So I'm doing love. I'm going to, um, you know, cook your food. I'm going to give you a massage. I'm going to send you love letters. I'm going to whatever, all the things that we do. But who we're being while we're doing them is not love. Who we're being is, did that work? Now do you love me? Who we're being is, well, scorekeeping. Well, I did this, this, and this, and they don't do that for me back. Right? There's lots of ways we can be, even though we're doing things. I just made you dinner. I just had sex with you. I just whatever. I'm doing that, but who I'm being is scorekeeping, resentful, unworthy. Well, no, they're not really treating me the way I want, but this is the best I can do at this point in my life. Who else am I going to meet? When you're being that, that's your beingness, even though whatever you're doing could look on the surface like love. It's not, and well, we could be on here for 3 hours, so I won't keep going down that. But that's the difference between being and doing. And so what does that mean to you if you're listening to this conversation? Who do you be in the world? And do you know how to get yourself to be love? Because that's our event next week. Christy and I, this is our 5th year of running a free event. There's no cost to it. All you need to do, and I'll put the link, I'll put it in right now, is join our Facebook group. And we start on Monday and we end on Friday. Just as nice that this year Valentine's is on Friday. So we're just going to do it 5 days next week. And we're going to work at and look at and give you different exercises to do. We're going to have different conversations each day around, how do I be that? How do I do that? What's blocking me? What's been blocking me my whole life from being love?
Yeah, exactly. And that really is our focus this year. We sometimes do different things in this group. It's always centered around love. But I think Linda and I have both kind of been on the same wavelength in terms of thinking about what love really is. And, it's not a feeling. At least I was taught growing up, well, love is a verb, right? Love is action. Love is what you're doing. Well, that's maybe a little closer than love being a feeling, but I still don't think that's it. Love is actually the energy. It is you
Mhm.
being connected to the source of love. Whether you come from a Christian background and that's God, whether that's something else for you, what the source of love, and being in the energy of love so that you are showing up in the world from that energy so that you can heal your body and bring it back into balance from whatever health concerns you might be struggling with from that place, so that you can create the relationships that you want to have, so that you can create the life experience that you want to have. And it all comes from being in an energetic state, an energetic frequency of love. So
Yeah.
how do we do that? How do we shift into that energetic frequency? And not that any of us are perfect, not that any of us live there 100% of the time, but how do we be love and be in that energetic frequency most of the time, or shift
Yeah.
back into that energetic frequency when we know we're not?
Yeah. Because when you do learn how to be love in your life, you be love, there's never a feeling of lack in terms of love. I wish I had a relationship, or I wish I had a better relationship. Wherever you're at in your life, there's no feeling of that because the love is coming from within you. And when you be love, it radiates out into everything. You look at a puppy, you look at the sky, you look at a child, you look at a human being, whatever human being you see, and you see all of that through a lens of love, not through comparison, not through judgment about them or about yourself. So there's a lot to this being thing, I think. And yeah, that's what we really wanted to just get you to think about. And if this is intriguing for you, if you're like, I want to learn more about being love in my life. And I also want to learn more about being my own best Valentine, which is the name of the group, as I put here in the comments. And I want to learn more about how to do that. Christy and I have come up with, I think, some really great things for us to do next week in this free event.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. And we will be live in that group, the Be Your Own Best Valentine Facebook group, at 12 noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, every day, Monday through Friday, leading up to Valentine's Day. And so we'll just be there for, it won't be real long, 20, 30 minutes probably, to talk a little bit about a specific idea around being your own best Valentine and being love rather than doing love or feeling love or looking for love. And the goal is just to help all of us make some of these shifts. So we'll probably have some journaling activities for you, some resources that we'll be sharing with you to help you be your own best Valentine over this next week, whether you have a partner that you are going to be celebrating Valentine's with or not.
Yeah. Yep. So we hope that that is intriguing for you. We hope that that's really a different light on love and how it shows up in your life. And, if you've been feeling frustrated in relationships, doesn't necessarily mean it's the wrong relationship at all. But how can you shift yourself so that that relationship, the container of that relationship, feels different? And that's, really being responsible for, I create my relationships. I'm not over here receiving a relationship. I'm not over here receiving your decision to show me love or not show me love, or working harder in order to get that. None of that applies. I'm over here being love and creating the experience of love for myself every day, over and over. And then it exudes onto all the people I'm in relationship with. So if that intrigues you, in the comments, I put the link for the group. Again, it's totally free. We start on Monday, and I hope to see you there.
Yes, hope to see you all there.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Christy?
No, I think that's great.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks. If there's any questions that you have, definitely leave a comment and just say hello if you're watching this later, and we'll see you next week.
All right,
Ciao.
sounds great. Thanks, Linda, and see you all next week.
Yep. Thanks, Christy.